Hey, what's up everybody? This is Brick501 and today I want to go over what I think is the best G36 build in Escape From Tarkov. And this weapon is actually pretty usable with all of the recent recoil changes. Now I don't think it's the best 5.56, I think there's actually a handful of other 5.56 weapons that are better than this, but it is usable now and I think a lot of people want to use this weapon just because it looks cool and because people have used it so much in other games, especially growing up through the earlier Call of Duties and Battlefields where you could use this weapon. A lot of people just have a fondness for it now. But there is one thing I'll say about this weapon is that the ergo does not seem to be properly showing, because it seems like the ergo is much lower than the stat would actually have you believe, specifically with ADS speed. And the more specific reason for this is because there's two magwells you can use for the G36. The normal one that comes on it that only allows you to use the specific G36 30 rounders, or you can change it to a NATO magwell, which allows you to use all the other 5.56 magazines. So you could put a PMag 60 rounder in it, drops it down to 21 ergo in this full build. But with that 21 ergo, this legitimately feels like the ADS speed is less than something like a fully built SVD with single digit ergo. And I haven't specifically tested it against other weapons, but I have a few thousand hours in this game, and this legitimately felt slower than single digit ergo weapons. So that will require more testing, but with what I tested with this, I would not recommend using the 60 rounder. The ergo is just too bad with it. So use a normal magwell, use the 30 rounders. You're going to be having 35.5 ergo, which is still a little bit low, but definitely much more usable. You just have to play around having 30 rounders, and it's a 750 RPM weapon, so it's a bit slower than something like the M4 or HK, so it shouldn't be too bad having only 30 rounders. So for the rest of the build, we're going to be starting with the top mount, the G36 sight mount. This is going to allow you to put whatever sight you want on it. I just have an EOTech XPS 30. It is 5.56, so you can use the longer range sights if you want to do that. That's going to be completely fine. 5.56 is generally a pretty accurate round, and the weapon is a decent MOA of right around 2 with this build, so you can definitely snipe some people with it. You're going to be wanting the thicker buttstock, the adjustable stock. Then like we went over, you're going to want the normal magwell with the 30 rounders in it. We're going to be using the mid-sized barrel, so the 318mm barrel. I don't think going the much longer barrel is going to be good for this weapon. Like I mentioned, that's specifically to do with the ergo. Some guns, it's much better to have the much lower recoil and sacrifice a lot more ergo, but with this one, you're not going to want to be doing that too heavily. We're going to be using the Stark SE5 foregrip. This is pretty much the best grip in the game for a mix of ergo and vertical recoil. That's going to be on the G36 bottom rail. And then whichever side of the rifle you want, you're going to be putting one of the side handguard rails on it and then putting your tactile device of choice on it. I use the bald R's. I think the flashlights aren't too bright, so you can have a flashlight and laser pointer on at the same time and be able to effectively use that. And pretty much everything else on the build is just what comes on the G36. But then we have the barrel attachments, and we're going to be using the Silencer Co. ASR and the Saker ASR sound suppressor. That's by far going to be the most expensive part of this build. But like I mentioned, I said best, I didn't say cheapest. And that's pretty much the entirety of this build. It's pretty simple. It's actually decently cheap besides having the Saker ASR. And if you want to, you could actually use much cheaper silencers and the stats wouldn't be a ton different. You would probably get a few more recoil, but also with that, some of the cheaper suppressors that give more recoil also can give you a little bit more ergo. And this is generally still a pretty fun weapon to just run around with 5.6A1 in it and just go spray some people down. It's not going to be a complete laser beam like some of the other weapons, but like I mentioned, at closer medium range, you're going to be able to spray pretty effectively. And it's 5.56, so you're still going to have that longer range accuracy and decent muzzle velocity to be able to try to tap people at longer ranges. But that's pretty much all I want to go over for this build. So subscribe if you want to see more Escape from Tarkov or other FPS videos. Leave a like if you like the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about this G36 build, and thanks for watching.
Служивый! Хуйло, вот хуйло! Конец тебе! Понял, понял. А вот! Вот он! Ебать его! На маршрут! Давай, мочи их! Вон он все! Вот тупырь! Гнида! Сука ты, блядь, и упырь, блядь!